Now, we had two tack rooms at our ranch. One was at the end of the hay barn, and that was for everybody to use. If we tore a cinch or snapped a lead or something, we had to fix it. And we thought we could fix it. We'd go in there and try to fix it. If we didn't fix it, then we'd leave it sitting on the bench. And the next morning, I think the bench fixed it because it was like magic. It would be fixed and ready to go. They didn't want you to miss any work, so it got fixed somehow or another. The other tack room is what this poem's about. And it's a little scary. In fact, it's called Ghost in the Tack Room. And this is my Halloween poem for you. So what I want you to do is settle in, cinch up your depends, and here we go. Now, I've heard of haunted houses, but never haunted barns. There should be spirits in old castles and hotels and such, but not down on the farm. So you can't imagine my surprise and sense of, well, impending doom. The night I met the ghost in the tack room. Now, from the outside, it looked harmless, just a little wooden shack. At most, it measured 12 by 12 or so, one small window in the back. And they only had to build 3 walls because the barn side was the t'other. And inside now, I was sure there was treasure to discover. So I asked my cousin Jerry, Jerry, tell me about that shed. Well, kid, you're not allowed in there, is what my cousin said. That's great-grandpa's special tack room, and he keeps it locked up tight. And I have heard voices come from in there late at night. Voices? Like from ghosts, I said? Yep, was his reply. Now, I might have peed my britches if I was a younger guy. And have you ever seen one, I asked? Heart just a-pounding in my chest. Not just yet, he said. Then the hook was set. But since you're my favorite cousin, and you only want a peek, right? Yeah, just a peek. And if my older brother Dennis can come up with the key. Well, I heard the Grange is meeting in town next week, and great-grandpa always goes. He always goes. Now, that was when I lost the feeling, all the way down in my toes, right down there. So it's just shy of 1 week later. The plan was set in stone. The minute Grandpa left for town, we found ourselves alone in the corner of that dairy barn. Icebox coolers stood the floor. Behind them, 3 young boys and 1 locked door. Now, Dennis was the oldest, so Dennis held the key. Jerry was the instigator. He was always that. An oil lamp, that was for me. Jerry said, it's now or never. Voting never's what I said. And then the key went in the lock. And I thought, I'm dead, he's dead, we're all dead. Dead. Oh, my goodness. Then the door swung slowly open. And nothing flew right out, nothing. There was no ghostly wailing. I still felt the need to shout. And then my dear, sweet cousin Jerry said, well, you've got the lamp, so you go first. Now, of anything he had to say, that was the worst, and he always picked the worst. But that was when I chose to look that dare right squarely in the face, not showing fear to either cousin, no, not the smallest trace. I stepped boldly in that tack room, the bravest of my kin. Now, that was when they slammed the door and locked me in. Yeah, that was when. Yeah. Well, the laughter faded quickly as my cousins ran away. The words I spit into the air might still be up there today. But then the realization that I might not be alone crept swiftly to the core of every bone. Every bone. So at first, I didn't move a muscle, but my ears were tuned to high. I was listening for them footsteps or that lonesome, mournful cry. And then, well, I started smelling something. No, it warn't me. And it wasn't cold or damp or nothing, so I raised my head. And then I raised the lamp. Well, there were saddles hanging from the walls, and chaps and spurs and hats and a few ropes and some lariats and all kinds of leather straps. And there was a workbench with some cans of something on it and some dark red stained, oily rags. And down the middle was a rack. Yeah, a rack. Mostly for saddle blankets and saddlebags. Still a rack, yeah. But what caught most of my attention, though, was a case on the back wall. It was full of trophies, belts, and ribbons, about as wide as it was tall, and I thought I'd go take a closer look-see, because I was feeling somewhat bolder. Then an old, gnarled, wrinkled hand landed firmly on my shoulder. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Son, just how'd you get in here, is what Great-Grandpa said. I forget, I answered cleverly, always thinking, but my heart still filled with dread. Was it Dennis? No, wait, it was Jerry. And then he said, look, just never mind. So tell me, what was it you expect to find? Ghosts and treasure, I squeaked proudly, thinking maybe I should cry, but then I think he saw the storm clouds a-brewing in the corner of my eye, and he said, well, you won't find neither, but I'll show you what you found. And then he took my hand and he showed me all around. He said, see that saddle there? That was my pa's. He's the one that found this place. He come all the way from Ireland, seeking hope and saving grace. And, well, my ma, she didn't ride much, but her hat rests gently there. I used to love to listen to her singing from that front porch rocking chair. And that saddle there, well, that's your great-great-uncle Charlie's. He's the only real cowboy I ever knowed. He worked the cattle trails in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and you know what? He saw the buffalo. When you talk to him, son, you're talking to history. Time's gone long, long, long ago. Now, every saddle had a story, as did chaps and spurs and such, and I listened very closely, but he told me way too much. And he could see that I was fading, eyelids drooping. Well, I was tuckered out. And he said, son, tell me, is there anything you'd like to ask me about? Well, I pointed at that trophy case because the sparkle caught my eye. Great-grandpa nodded, grinned a bit, and then I heard him sigh. He said, son, those are all rodeo awards earned by my youngest boy. That's your Uncle Bert. Now, I told him I'd throw them out for him right after he got hurt. But now that's enough for one night. But you know, you're invited back again. Your cousin Jerry and I meet in here once a month. He says he has a key. He'll let you in. He has a key. He said, we clean and oil this old tack. I tell stories. We swap lies. That's one talent Jerry has we all can recognize, I'll say. So I went back a time or two that summer, and for summers after that. If you ask me about my time in there, swapping lies and cleaning tack, if you want to know what I remember and what stuck with me to this day, ghosts and treasure. Ghosts and treasure is what I'd say.